Hello, hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. And today our guest is Farzin Mazinani, and he is holistic coach, success coach, and also holistic wellness practitioner. Hi, Farzin.
Hi, Elena. Thank you for inviting me in here. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much. We had such amazing episode before, and that's why I thought that our audience would love to listen again because you have so much wisdom and knowledge. As you said, you read 1,000 books.
Yes.
Yes, so I think that we will have so many interesting episodes. So let's speak today about the stagnation, how to break from stagnation and move forward to life. It is so important topic because we work with many driven business owners, entrepreneurs, and stagnation is part of the journey. And this is important to understand that it is the uh, just a part of the journey, yes, and how to deal with this and how to get out of it and get back to grow business and thrive.
Sure. Yeah, I think that is a very important topic because we all face it. Let's be honest. We all have those moments. And some of those moments are a little bit harder on us than the other ones. For example, when I talk about stagnation, uh, I just differentiate stagnation in three different types based on whatever I wrote in my book. So the first one is static stagnation. What is a static stagnation? Static stagnation is you are in a position that you don't want to get out of bed. And why? Because sometimes we face some challenges in life, and the challenge is bigger than us. And it can cause us to go to the freeze mode. What is freeze mode? It is automatic response that when we are facing something that is bigger than us, there is a process. It is called fight or flight or freeze. So one of those options are freezing. Freezing means we don't want to move. I don't know if you had those moments, and sometimes we have a lot of things to do and we go and sleep. We do nothing. So that is normal because sometimes we need to recharge. But if we stay in that position, then depression comes and the other things come and stuff. So we have to be familiar with the process. So that is one type of stagnation. And the second type is actually dynamic stagnation. I call it dynamic stagnation. What is dynamic stagnation? Dynamic is moving. So we are moving towards a goal, but the problem is we are moving on a circle. What does it mean? Sometimes we feel that life is like a routine. We get up, we go to work, do the things that we do at work, come back home, do the things we do at home, and then the next day is the same. So it's a hamster wheel. We go and go and go, but we end up at the land of nowhere. And how that thing is going to happen? Because we are all somehow programmed by the society that in order to have a good life, you have to go and have some type of education and then go to a corporate world, have something, the income that comes, and then you start doing that. And then all of a sudden, you look back at your life is gone, and you haven't achieved anything substantial. You haven't had those blissful moments in your life, and you feel that you were wasting your life. It's not a good feeling. You know, a lot of us might have that kind of a stagnation, which I call dynamic stagnation. So, what is the third type of a stagnation? The third type of a stagnation is a bit different. So, how is it different? It is like this. I might think that I'd better do something about type 2 of stagnation, which is dynamic, because I'm not satisfied with those kind of things. I just want to come out of my shell. I want to express myself and I want to be successful. I want to be impactful. So, what I do is I go to the path of hustle and grind. Why? Because everybody says that when you want to start a business, there's a lot of hustle and grind at first, and you have to do this and you have to do that. It's very stressful. So we don't want the dynamic stagnation. We don't want to stay in our comfort zone. We want to come out of our shell. So we go to the path of hustle and grind. So what is the path of hustle and grind? There is a reason for that. Why? Because every change comes with a resistance. Why resistance? Because consciously we might decide to move to a certain place, but subconsciously we might not be ready for that. And it's like a train. The train is going south, going fast towards south, and we are in a train. And then we decide to move north. We are still in a train walking towards north. Where do we end up? South, of course, because the train is going south. The train is our subconscious mind, which is a million times stronger than the conscious decisions. So every decision that we make, we feel that there is a resistance because our subconscious mind wants to protect us. So every new situation is a danger for our existence. So subconscious mind brings the bag of tricks and pull out different tricks to not to let us go to that direction. What are those tricks? Those are the fears. For example, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of change, or even we might get sick. Have you noticed that sometimes when we want to do something substantial, we might get sick? Because those are the tricks in the bag of trick of our subconscious mind. It doesn't let us to go that way. So that's why it might feel that it's not easy to go towards our goal. So some people call it the path of hustle and grind. And why? Because sometimes in the battle we get injured. What type of injury? We might go and start building a business as a business owner or entrepreneur or something like that. But there are a lot of stress, there are a lot of anxiety that we have to face. And it takes a toll on our body. So imagine that you were able to start a business and develop it and take it to the level that you like, but your health is compromised. It's not a good feeling. You know, we cannot call ourselves successful. I give you another example. Sometimes in the process of building a business, we have to spend a lot of time on the business. And so we are stealing the time that we could spend with our loved ones. And what happens is with that, we are going to create something, a business, but we are losing our relationships. Is it the good place to be? I don't think so, because we're not going to be happy. And sometimes it has different effects, like on uh, mm, happiness. Sometimes we feel that we have to be on top of the mountain of success, and then we're going to feel happy. When I have this, when I have that, when I have this, I'm going to be happy. But we are on top. We look inside, we look back, and we feel empty. We don't have that kind of joy and happiness. So That causes problem. Why? Because everybody says that you're going to be there and you're going to be happy, but we feel cheated because it is the other way around. We have to be happy to be able to go on top of the mountain, but nobody tell us that. Everybody says that you're going to be there and then you're going to be happy. So that kind of uh, process, I call them inner stagnation. Sometimes we have inner stagnation. It means that we are very successful from the eyes of others. But the problem is there are some other issues like health, relationship, and happiness that we are dealing with. So it is called inner stagnation. So there are three types of stagnation that we can have that prevents us to move forward in life.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yes, there's so much in this, what you just told about, that people think that, yes, I will get there. Like they look outside, they look at other people, and they see that somebody achieved something that they want, and they set the goal that, yes, as that person achieved, I also can do that. And they just work so hard and uh, restrict themselves from living at the moment, as they forget about acknowledge themselves for what they do already or what they did before, and they are in this hustles and all this stress, and then they get anxiety, insomnia, sometimes fall in depression. And why this is happening? Because people forget to live. Yes, they become so driven about the goal, about achieving something that they really want, that they forget about being happy in the process. Yes, and when they achieve that goal, they don't celebrate for long. Maybe shortly they celebrate, but then they, because they're already in this driven state, like acting and that created certain habits of neglecting themselves. So what usually happens when they even achieve the goal, maybe they happy for a while, but maybe next day or in a day they set another goal and they say, okay, I achieved this, but so it is not such a big goal, right? Like
Yeah,
when we forward, we think it is big goal, but when it is achieved, you look back and you say, what, this is not much in that. So, and then what they do, they set another goal. Yes. And it is like this, like they just live all their life achieving one goal, another goal, but they forget to live and to be happy. And I liked, as you told, that in order to achieve the goal, you should be happy, and you will achieve it faster. Yes, if you are happy, because if you're in the stress mode and you worry and you just so much attached to it, you might achieve your goal, but it will be very hard way. Yeah, it will be hard way. And there is effortless way how to achieve goal, by becoming that person who attracts things, right? Like instead of chasing things and pushing hard and doing maybe harder, thinking that you have to do harder, but maybe you should just change your perception. It's because there is no sense in doing harder things which don't work. But when people are so driven and so like just like horses at the race. Yes, they don't see anything like aside. They just see very narrow way, yeah, like piece of the way. And sometimes it can be a problem because the people can just see one way and think that I have to push harder. And maybe it is the biggest mistake, because because instead of pushing harder what doesn't work, or maybe it's not so much efficient, you have just to change the perception and just start looking at things from different view and start doing something different. Yes, and by becoming the person, you will get those goals faster and much more easier, and enjoying the process every day.
exactly. So, yeah, there are a lot of nuggets on the things that you discussed about, and I want to elaborate on that a bit. So let's just start from the definition of success. So when I talk to people about what success means to them, because success means different to different people, mostly people say that success means reaching my goal. And I tell them, with that definition, you're going to be miserable most of your life. Why? Because how many times you're standing on top of the podium? Those transient moments are very short compared to our whole life. And then when we stand on top, we have to start something else, as you said. So if success means reaching my goal, it is not a very good definition. So let's change that definition. I tell them, let's define it this way. Success means moving towards a worthy goal. With that definition, as long as you are moving towards something that is worthy for you, you feel successful. So you can feel successful most of your life with that definition. So sometimes it's just a matter of changing the definition. So change your definition, change your life. That is my motto. You know, it can be as easy as that. So that is one thing. And the other thing that you talked about, those the horse racing. That's a very good example because they put those blinders around the eyes of the horse so they're not distracted by whatever that is around them. Because if they get distracted, they lose the race. They have to focus on whatever they have right in front of their eyes. So we have those blinders. What are those blinders? The filters that we carry. What type of filter? There are two main filters that we carry and different types. So two types of filter. So there are limiting beliefs and then trapped emotions. So what are limiting beliefs? Limiting beliefs is when you think about something, the believing in something, nothing outside your belief you can experience. And it is very strong. It can kill you or it can heal you. I have examples. I don't know if we have time. I can give you a short example. Somebody came to my house and they said that she was a nurse back home. And she said that she told me a story. She said, in the hospital that I was working, two people came. And one of them, both had severe headaches. So they came to the hospital with severe headaches and they were examined. The first one, the doctor says that it's just a migraine and severe migraine. We're going to give you those medications and you're going to be fine. The second one, they told him that it is a very advanced tumor in your brain. So it is very advanced and is very close to some part of your brain that we cannot even do the surgery. So you have about a month to go and say goodbye to your family and friends. After that, you're not gonna live anymore based on whatever we see in your head. So the second person died in less than a month. The first person was fine. The family of the second person went to the hospital to grab the files, the medical files, and they noticed something. Somebody else's name was on the test. So somehow their file were switched. The examination that they had were switched. So the second person just had a migraine, but he was told by the authorities that you have a severe advanced tumor and you're not gonna be living more than a month. So he died with a migraine. The first person was told that it's just a migraine, but he had a tumor, but the tumor was vanished. So that is the power of belief. And why do we know about that? Because they the parents went to the public and complained about whatever happened to their son and stuff. So it went public, and they had to publish it in the medical journals in that country. So that's the reason. So a lot of those things happened, but nobody finds out. But the thing is that it shows us the power of belief. When you believe in something, you just create that scenario for yourself. So we have to be careful about our beliefs. And the second one is trapped emotions. What is trapped emotion? The trapped emotion is an unprocessed emotion. And we carry more than 200 of those trapped emotions in our body. How? It happens very easily. Like I take a test and I fail in that test. I don't get the results that I was expecting. And I go and talk to other people about that, the feeling of shame, the feeling of guilt, the feeling that I'm not good enough, and those kind of things. So that is the energy of failure. We mentalize things. We have something that differentiates us from other species, which is called prefrontal cortex. So we analyze everything. So when we start analyzing that, what happens is that we don't finish that process because we are just processing and processing and processing. It is an unprocessed emotion. And finally, our subconscious mind says that I'm going to store that emotion in your body and deal with it later on. So we have that unprocessed, unfinished kind of emotion, which is called failure. So that vibration that we carry in our body, the vibration of failure, is with us wherever we go. It is lower than the average vibration in our body. So it brings us down. The other thing is that that is vibrating at a certain vibration that is matching with the vibration of failure. So it means that we face that scenario again and again. It causes us to fail. The vibration of failure that we have is causing us to fail again and again. And we get those even more trapped in our body in different places in our body. So everybody on average is carrying more than 200 of those little balls of energy, which is called trapped emotions. And we see the world based on that. For example, if I have the emotion of grief, it can happen to any of us. You know, sometimes we have those low moments, loss of a loved one or something like that. We have those, and it gets stuck in our body, and then the whole world becomes dark for us because we have that filter. You know, when we have that filter, we see everything through that. So those are the blinders that we carry with ourselves. So what happens when I remove trapped emotions and limiting belief from people, because that is my specialty. So when I remove those, what happens is like widening those blinders on the horse race. They can see what is happening around them. They can have more choices in life instead of just running in whatever road it is in front of them that might lead to nowhere. That might lead to the place that they feel that they are on a hamster wheel. It is movement, but nobody can tell this is the best path they can go. But when we remove those blinders, what happens is that we have more choices. We can choose other paths that is better for us. So I believe all of us have those kind of blockages, and those blockages are preventing us from going to the path of success with joy and ease. But it is possible. When we remove those kind of blockages, we can enjoy the journey. We don't need to fight. We don't need to be a wounded warrior. Because if we win the fight, at the end, we're going to be a wounded warrior. It's not worth it. You lose your health and relationship and happiness over um, being on top of your business. It is not worth it. So we can remove those. We can open ourselves up, and then we have more choices. And we can move to the path of success with joy and ease. So that is my message to every entrepreneur in the world, that there are options, there are ways that we can bring the subconscious mind along in our journey with ourselves instead of fighting it. We can
Mhm.
bring our heart desire along, and then with the inspired actions, we can make a big difference in our own life and the life of others. So that type of bringing all those align is the alignment process. What is alignment process? Sometimes I'm driving one tire, and I feel that the tire of front tire of my cars are wearing out fast, and I'm wondering what's happening. I go and change the tire, it wear out again, and then I take the car to the mechanic, and the mechanic says that you need alignment. Your front wheels are not aligned. They have a slight difference in an angle, so they're not aligned. One of them is moving this way, the other one is moving this way, the other way. So they are not aligned. When they are not aligned, we get burnout. So the mechanic says that I can fix it. So maybe he does something to the front end and fix something, and then make our wheels aligned. And then we go buy the new set of tires and we're moving smoothly. But when we are not aligned, we face the burnout. So when our conscious mind is going to a different direction than our subconscious mind, we face that. We face that kind of scenario. So
Yeah.
alignment is very important.
Yes, alignment and attitude. Yes, attitude towards yourself, towards life, towards success. And I think what you said also is very important to understand that achievement of the goals and success, it happens from within. We cannot achieve new results by staying the person who we are today, because who we are today brought us to the results which we have. And the only way to achieve bigger results, bigger dreams which we didn't experience before, is to look within, as you said, understand what are those giants in our subconscious mind which stop us. Because it is like consciously we understand what we want, and we can make decision, we can even tell our friends that we go for it, for that. But subconsciously we have those hidden paradigms, those blockages, part of them as limiting beliefs, as we discussed today, which will move it back. And if people don't understand that it is the inner work which should be done, and if they just pushing hard without changing from within, nothing different will happen. They will just get burned out. And many people look for solution from outside. They think that there should be better, maybe economic or different country, or maybe partners for business. And usually you people have this tendency to blame outside factors. But we should understand that there is the cause and effect and everything. And we are the cause of everything what happens with us. And if we really have big goals and we really want to achieve them effortless way, as you said, Farzin, that we should look inside and look in our subconscious mind, how we programmed. If I don't get certain results today, it means that I am just programmed to do things which I do to get my current results. And the only way to get different results is to look in myself and see what I should start thinking and doing different. Yes, like what are my daily habits? What is my attitude? How I look at things? How I implement what I already know? Yes, because it is not just about going to know more, like seeking for more knowledge. It is not about knowledge because many people just looking for more knowledge and they just collect information and they become like a shelf. Yes, like shelf development. They have so many books on their shelf, and maybe they think that oh they have to have more books, and many of them even don't read, or even those which they read they don't implement, and it doesn't make any change, because the only one person who should change to get new results, it is you. And this is only from looking within and understand that you are the cause, and there are effects, because the way how you think, the way how you feel, the way how you act is what you do today will determine what results you will do tomorrow. And if you don't do this inner work, don't don't find out your limiting beliefs and work on them. Don't, for example, if you don't understand your attitude towards life, how it should change, and piece by piece you should renew, you should build yourself as a new person who is aligned with your goal, as we spoke about alignment. Yes, so it should be alignment between conscious and subconscious, also between what you think, what you do, and what you say. Yes, it should be all the same. And also alignment between your personality, like you should rewrite your new personality, create your new self-image, and be aligned with your goals. You should become that person who will start attract those new things by becoming that person, not by pushing hard and having stress and not doing anything with yourself. Nothing will happen much.
Exactly. So there is a process. And so in my book, I have a 10-step process for people to have that kind of um, moment that they move towards their goal with joy and ease. But it's I'm going to summarize it in 3 steps in here for the listeners or viewers so they can memorize it much easier. Do you agree that 3 step is easier than the 10 step? So let's do it in 3 steps. So what is the first step? First step is whatever you want to do, whatever we want to build in our life is not gonna be happening overnight. There's a process. For example, you want to build a building. You have to do the foundation, you have to do the walls, the roof, the outside, and then you work on the inside. There are some systems like plumbing, electrical, heating, and cooling. So there are a lot of things that is going into a building, and it doesn't appear in front of our eyes all of a sudden. So we have to go stage by stage. So we have to break it down to different things. So when they plan those projects, they break it down to different tasks. So those tasks are needle moving tasks. It means that every task is taking that building one step ahead so they get built. So we have to look at our goals like that. We have to break them down first to the smaller chunks to be able to deal with it. Because sometimes you have a big goal and then you don't know where to start with. So you can break it down into smaller actionable items. But the problem is that because it is called task, it creates resistance because we don't like to do the tasks, but we like something else. We like to be playful. Why? Because it is embedded with us from childhood. Everyone who likes to play, everyone likes games, you know? So we can change the name from tasks to games. We just change the label. We have those big things that we want to achieve. We break it down into smaller chunks and we call them small games that we want to play. So it changes our feeling towards them. And then what happens is the first step of the process comes, which is before we go to sleep. What happens when we want to go to sleep? We usually think about all the failures, all the stress, all the anxiety, all the blames and shames and those kind of things. We think about a lot of things. But the fact is that before we go to sleep, our brain waves are at alpha state. It means that we are receptive. Our subconscious mind is receptive. So we're putting all that stress and anxiety and fear and those things into our subconscious mind before we go to sleep. And we do it automatically. So let's change the process. The first step comes. The first step is game plan. Before we go to sleep, we think about those little games and pick a couple of them for the next day to play. So we sleep on those kind of things, not on our worries. We put it into our subconscious mind. So when we wake up, before you get out of the bed, soon as you wake up, even before you open your eyes, what happens is that we are still in that alpha moment. So we usually get up and rush and do things and listen to the news and those grab our cell phone and listen to the news and do those kind of things. And then we are exposing our subconscious mind again to the negativity. But let's change the process. So the second step comes. This game plan. What is game plan? It's a mental rehearsal. You're sleeping, you wake up in the morning, and then as soon as you wake up, you start playing that game in your head. And you start going through different stages of the game one by one and enjoy the feeling that you have at the end. You achieved that kind of results that you wanted from that game and you feel happy. So you're all doing it in your head. And what it does is the second punch that you throw towards your subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind's guard is wide open again. So that is the time, that is the golden time. Do we use it or not? So that is the chance. That is the only chance that that little guy can bring down that giant. So the golden opportunity. So we do that mental rehearsal. What is the third step? The third step is just playing during the day. So we had those punches a couple of times. One before you go to bed, one after we wake up. And now it's time to play. And it's going to be automatic because subconscious mind works on automatic mode. So when we program it, we're automatically going to play that game. And then we play those little games, little games, little games. At the end, we are at our destination, enjoying the journey. So that is the difference between enjoying the journey or going to the paddle, hustle, and grind. Which one do you choose? So it's a very easy three-step process that everybody can do. It doesn't matter what your business is, what you want to achieve, what goal you have, you can use it.
Yes, and we have to train our mind to focus on what we want because it doesn't come automatically because we are conditioned to think negatively. Even today, I was going by bike and there was a narrow place, and I noticed that automatically I was starting thinking about like the wall that I can hit the wall. And then I used my mind to start thinking where I want to go, and I just moved the wheel to the place where I had to go. So initially, I had to change my focus. Instead of looking to the wall that I'm going to hit the wall, I had to change my focus first where I want to go, and then change the wheel and just move to that direction. Yeah, so I just thought about this like when I was today on the bike. Yes, this is how it works. Like automatically, we just think about what we don't want. Like automatically, we are conditioned to think about like where the problem will come, and we just can focus all our attention to that wall, and at the end we will hit that wall, right? So what we
Mhm.
have to do, we have to become aware of our thoughts, and whatever situation happens, instead of thinking that, oh, this is dangerous, this is can what worse can happen, we have to identify those thoughts and attentively start thinking to choose what we really want. Yes, and this is how you said that we have to play during the day. Yes, because it is like a game. Because when you become aware of this process, it becomes like a game, because you will see that your mind wants to think about doubts, fears, dangers, because this is automatically, this is how we have this in our subconscious mind. And the game becomes when you aware of this, and then you choose what I want to think about. And every time you win, and every time you see how it works, because when you change your focus, this is how you start moving in the right direction. Yes, because if you focus on the wall, you just will continue going and hit the wall, right? Like when people live in fear, doubts, this is what they get. They just attract more, because this is what they focus on. This is what they get. Yes, so this is the game of your mind. When you start understanding that you are in control, you can choose what to think about. And in every situation, you just think about what you want, like before you go sleep, when you wake up, and during the day, just be in control. Just don't allow your mind be occupied by those mental activities. Yes, choose thinking, choose conscious thinking, and choose to think about what is your goal today, what your task, what you want to achieve, and be in that frequency of achiever. Celebrate every moment, what you already did well. Celebrate, acknowledge yourself, and be in that frequency of the winner, even if the wins are small. But that we spoke today, that success is the progressive realization of the worthy ideal. Yes, like I like this quote of old Nightingale, that every day when you do something, then you win even about your thoughts, about your actions. This is success. You're every day successful when you compare yourself with yesterday, who you were, and you see that you moved forward, that you are already more successfully doing what you couldn't do this way yesterday.
Exactly. So it is important to know where we need to focus on. That's why I created a quiz for people so they understand where they should put their focus on. This quiz is based on the four aspects of life: health, wealth, relationship, and happiness. So those are four important aspects. Those are not the cause, those are the effect, but we can find the root cause from those effects. So it gives them a score. It is called the life quality assessment, life quality assessment quiz. So it gives them a score. So if they go to my website, which is joyfulfix.com, they go to the contact page, there is a quiz they can get access to. They can go through that quiz, and then it gives them a score in those different areas of life. So that is an indicator that we have something solid in our hand, that we know which aspect we need to work more on, because sometimes it's not clear to us. So that helps them to just find out for themselves. Yeah, we can talk about those topics for hours and hours. Maybe in the next podcasts we continue discussing that, because there are a lot of things that when we are aware of, if it doesn't work for us, we can avoid. We don't need to go through all those problems that we are going through right now. I have some workshops for people to clean those trapped emotions and limiting beliefs. So every now and then I just bring up one of those workshops and help people. But if you go to my website on the contact page, you can record your voice and we can arrange for more connection and whatever you feel that we can do together. So the first step is that quiz. It helps us to have a more clear picture of what we want from our life.
Thank you so much, Farzin. Yes, it was great episode. And the contacts for your website and how people can contact you will be in description to this video. And thank you so much for being amazing guest on our podcast. And we shared so much valuable information. And I'm sure that those people who listen to us will benefit a lot. And I am looking forward to speak to you again in our
Sure.
future episodes.
You're very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.